Welcome to today's show, Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Burgess, passionate, inspirational speaker, author, poet, and entrepreneur. Welcome to Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. I want to give a great big thank you and shout out to all of you listening today, all around the world. I'm so delighted and grateful that you tuned in. I sure hope you're enjoying a fabulous day today and that you're having a fabulous week as well, because you know what? In the grand song of the universe, life is very, very short. It's short and sweet and very, very precious. So I hope you're making a difference in your own life, because when you do, you also make a difference in somebody else's life. Now, a lot of folks really want to make their life count for something, but they don't know how, or maybe it seems so big and overwhelming, they just don't know where to begin. So they ask me, Dr. Gloria, how do you do that? How do you make your life count? Well, it's really very simple, very simple. You make your life count day by day, step by step, moment by moment, every single day, 365, 24/7. You make your life count by being there for someone who needs the sweet fragrance of your presence, by your kind and generous spirit, and by the wonderful small things you do for someone. You make your life count by being an uplifter, by being an encourager. Perhaps you take a walk with someone you love. Or maybe you bake bread for your neighbors or support your children with their homework. You make your life count. You make a difference by being in your garden and maybe picking a handful of beautiful flowers to make a bouquet for your spouse or for your mom or dad. Not because it's their birthday. You pick them beautiful flowers just because. Maybe you share a handful of basil or thyme or something from your garden, a basket of tomatoes, with your neighbor. If you're like me, you call your mom when you're not stuck in traffic and you tell her, I love you, Mother. Or, I just called today to hear the sweet sound of your voice. Can I just tell you something? Those few acts of kindness, or those few simple words from your heart, may seem really small to you, but to someone else, they are huge, and they make a big difference in that other person's life. You could also make a difference by being grateful for who you are, being grateful for whose you are, and by making sure that you live your purpose by giving your gifts, giving your God-given gifts to the world. Now, today I want to share with you a bit about an individual who lives his purpose, a person who gives his God-given gifts to the world over and over and over again. Now, I actually met this person several years ago. We both happened to play a role in the same event, which I realized only after I started my research for this show. So even though I don't really know this person personally, it feels like I do. Not only because we shared the same platform, so to speak, but he kind of feels like a brother. You know, if I had a brother, he would be that brother. It feels like he's someone who might have been raised in the very same household, the same family as I was raised in. We share a common love for people. We share a common love for serving others. And we're both grateful givers. And we both share a love for music. And specifically, we share a deep understanding of the power of music. The power of music to do so many different things. And in particular, the power of music to heal. So who is this person? Well, I'm glad you asked. His name is Samite Mulando. Samite is a professional musician and a former refugee. He's also the founder and executive director of an organization called Musicians for World Harmony. I recently read an article about this amazing organization, and I was so moved by what I read, I thought, oh, wouldn't it be wonderful if I could interview Mr. Mulando as a guest on my show? I was so excited about sharing his work, about how he's making a difference in our world through the power of music. In fact, I was so excited that I wrote to the folks who published the article that I just mentioned. I wrote to request their permission to share the article about Mr. Mulando and his incredible organization. Again, it's called Musicians for World Harmony. So I received permission to share the article, which was published by the team at gratefulness.org. Gratefulness.org. The article was actually published as part of their Grateful Changemakers series. So I'll give them another shout out later in the show and share their website with you so you can check out the many fabulous resources they offer on gratitude and on gratefulness. Now, at some point, I also will reach out to Samite to invite him to be a guest on my show. But today, I'm very excited to share a bit about him because he is someone who is very inspiring to me. I know he will be an inspiration to you too, because Samite Mulando is one of those people who not only lives his purpose, he is on fire about his purpose. Before we delve into today's show, which is all about the power of music, let me remind you, you can learn more about Legacy Living Make Your Life Count by visiting the Gloria Burgess website. That's gloriaburgess.com. Gloria, B as in boy, BURGESS.com. The Gloria Burgess website, GLORIA, B as in boy, URGESS.com, or by visiting Facebook. And you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Dr. Gloria Burgess, PhD. And that's DR for doctor, DRGLORIA, BURGESS, PhD, /. If you're just joining us, you are listening to Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. And I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Burgess. We're going to have a great show today, as always. Now, today I'd like to share with you a bit about the power of music. Author and storyteller Hans Christian Andersen reminds us that where words fail, music speaks. Where words fail, music speaks. And Samite Mulando, founder and executive director of Musicians for World Healing, has a lot to say about the power of music, specifically the power of music to heal, which is the focus of our show today. In his own words, Samite says, music is a great force for healing. Music is a great force for healing, something we all need in our lives. He goes on to say that we are committed more than ever to the importance of our work. That's because it's so powerful, able to build bridges between people, able to evoke memories and emotions, and as more and more research is showing, able to help people feel better. talk a little bit now about the impact of Musicians for World Harmony. What does the lasting impact of Musicians for World Harmony look like for people who have participated in their projects? When asked about this, Mulando said, "I think most people realize that human resilience is very powerful. I think people are built to deal with more than they think they can. Even children who have seen the most horrible things can, with a bit of music, learn to sing and laugh again. Even when it's a one-time experience, it brings so much joy to the heart that people don't forget the experience." In sharing his work with the Gratefulness team, Samite described how he sees his work as being connected to grateful living. In his own words, he says, "Everyone matters. Everyone belongs." Mr. Mulando shares that harmony, by definition, is the simultaneous union of various elements to produce a pleasing effect. In the lives of those affected by war, famine, and poverty, addressing only medical and shelter issues proves not to be enough to achieve harmony. At Musicians for World Harmony, our work continually seeks to address deeper issues of the human spirit so that a true harmony within individuals can be found. Harmony to me means people from different backgrounds and religions living together peacefully. Children of different backgrounds and races playing games and singing together is an example of this. So you might be wondering, are other musicians involved with this incredible organization? And if so, how do they get involved? Now, these are good questions, right? Now, other musicians are indeed involved in Musicians for World Harmony. Samite explains that over the years, his small nonprofit organization has learned to network with other organizations to accomplish bigger things. When my concerts bring me in touch with powerful, connected people, I give them an opportunity to make a difference. For example, Samite was invited to be on stage with trumpeter, amazing jazz trumpeter, Wynton Marsalis. Now, you've heard me talk about Wynton on this show before, right? And now, after the show, Wynton asked Samite about his work. And Samite says, I let him know about these amazing young former street kids who were now living in an orphanage in the slums of Nairobi. They wanted to start a marching band, but they didn't have the instruments. Their dream was to march in the streets, then stop in a park where people would follow them to continue listening to their music. And they would use this opportunity to talk about HIV and AIDS and how to prevent getting it. I love that. Now, why these particular topics? Because AIDS had taken their parents. Mulando's conversation with Wynton Marsalis ended up with him sending the orphanage all the instruments they needed. Now, this is just one example of how Musicians for World Harmony has managed to make a difference in spreading the healing power of music. They also collaborate with young musicians and professors at Berklee College of Music in the Department of Music Therapy. Mr. Mulando says, this connection gives us a chance to influence the young men and women to go out on their own to work in Africa and other parts of the world to bring music therapy where it's really needed.